Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well today. So in this video, I want to talk to you all about pessimism and the seduction of pessimism and the danger of pessimism as an investor. On this channel, we have focused and talked mostly about the dangers of irrational exuberance because that is what the Pokemon card community, in my opinion, desperately needed this year. And hopefully this channel has helped a lot of people from making mistakes and or making bigger mistakes than they would have, and has really pushed people to buy things that they enjoy, that they appreciate, and that have good rarity and other types of fundamentals where these cards will recover, and to not over leverage themselves on credit where you are now being forced to sell your cards at a much lower amount than they were a few months ago. So that is my hope. But now, as I explained to those people 8 months ago were yelling at me on my channel saying, Jake thinks the whole Pokemon market is just going to collapse and doesn't believe in Pokemon long term. And my response is always like, I have more cards and I'm holding more cards than the vast majority of people on planet Earth. So I certainly am. I'm a secret bull and probably one of the biggest bulls, and in terms of this being a place to park money as a value investment in the long term. And so what I explained to you guys then was that when the market turns, which it will, and there'll be this big correction, there's going to start to be irrational pessimism and irrational fear. And this is that video. So this is the start of that, of those types of conversations I'm going to try to have with you guys, where I am going to preach patience, where I'm going to preach calm, where I'm going to preach holding items that have good rarity, that where the pop reports are not going to be flooded, and or selling items that are not rare and where lots and lots of those cards are going to come back, as I've tried to explain, and we haven't seen absolutely nothing yet. Right now we're just seeing fear and anxiety drive the market down in a lot of cases. We are seeing less than 1 to 5% of the population that's coming back of most cards so far from PSA. So selling those cards, probably getting a little bit of cash, and then probably rebuying those cards at some point, or buying cards that have better fundamentals. That's what I truly believe will be the best thing for you from that investment perspective. And from a collector perspective, why it's just so important to buy what you really enjoy and appreciate, and that you're not just buying stuff because you want to make a quick buck. Particularly if it's a very risky item, because in many cases you won't. You will not time the market well, and you will be stuck with an item that you don't like and that you bought only to make money off of. So the seduction of pessimism and this concept and this idea of pessimism is that it's very difficult for human beings and this, of course, includes every single person, including myself, including all of the best value investors, historically amazing value investors like Warren Buffett, that psychologically we are unable to, we get very swayed by strong opinions and by strong emotion and by hype and or panic. And so when things are going up really fast, it's very seductive. And when things are going down very fast, that fear and that panic is very seductive. And it's very difficult to actually be a value investor and function purely on calm, objective, value fundamental analysis of the underlying asset that you're purchasing, whether it be a Pokemon card, a stock, piece of real estate, whatever that is. And the idea of that value investing is that you're buying an item that you believe with time will appreciate in value, because there will be more money and more people interested in that item if it's a Pokemon card, and just not enough of that item going around. So what I would urge people is now is a good time to try and find that equilibrium. Maybe acknowledge some of your irrational exuberance this year, but also try and avoid and not let yourself now switch and fall into that fear and that seduction of pessimism, okay? So I think now is a good time to try to make a financial plan, probably get yourself in a good financial position so that you have some cash, either to buy more if you are unsatisfied with your current collection, and or just have some source of income or some cash to help you not need to sell cards for the next 5 years if we run into a long, slow period where we see very little growth. I think it's gonna, we could easily see it might take 5 to 10 years for a lot of these items to recoup their value, to recoup their gain. And most people have been in this hobby who are spending tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in some place. They've been in this hobby 6 months. Do they have the patience? Do they have the value investor mindset to hold an item that they have lost money on for 5 to 10 years to recoup that value? To get that value back? I don't know. I think a lot of those people will cut their losses and sell, and that will continue to push the market down, and the market will find a floor somewhere with people who believe in the items, who want the items, and who enjoy and appreciate and get them. So the message on this channel will never change. I will try and be that sort of moderate, consistent voice, and I think what are hopefully the certain people who maybe didn't understand this channel will understand is that in an irrational exuberant market, I'm going to appear like a bear, and in an irrationally pessimistic argument, I'm probably going to appear like a bull. And those are the value investors. The value investors, that moderate, objective value investor is that center. It's always the center of the storm, that calm. And so what I want to tell you guys this year is that my anxiety and my concern and my worry this year was not about my own portfolio. It was about people in the community, and it was about the health of the hobby, and my concern that so many people would lose a lot of money and fall into this bubble, and we would lose you from the hobby, and you would burn yourselves out, and all of the addiction stuff I talk about, it all goes into that, because there's an incredible addiction in investing. Investing is gambling. So opening packs is gambling. Sending your cards off to grading is gambling. And then hoping that it's going to go up in the future is gambling. So all of this creates these dopamine, rushes in our brain. And we want more and more. And you want to buy more and higher dollars and more and higher amounts. And it's very dangerous. And it's why you have to not confuse that with investing. And when you're trying to invest, you have to understand that a lot of that dopamine and that addiction and that gambling stuff is what drove the prices so high. And a lot of the kind of falling apart of that is what is going to drive those prices down to probably where they should be and lower than where they should be. And in terms of timing the market, that's a very difficult thing to do. I don't know what sort of time frame this is going to look like. As I've always said on this channel, and as I was saying during the biggest bull period, that could last a month, it could last 3 months, it could last 6 months, it could last a year, it could last a couple of years. Although when things move up that high and that intensely, usually it's very short. And we saw that in the stock market this year. Like the more intense it goes up very quickly, the more intense it's likely to burst and come down very quickly versus kind of a slower bubble forming. This is a very quick bubble forming and a very quick bubble popping. We're talking about a bubble forming on certain items in a week and then a bubble popping in a week. Right? Crazy times. And despite what people tell you, no one can time that well and efficiently. And people are going to tell you all their wins and not their losses, and people are going to and there's going to be some people who got everything right who think that they're a genius, when in reality they just got lucky, and that's the actual truth. So again, this will always be a value investing channel, and a channel where we love and we enjoy this hobby, and where we try to look out for each other. I will try and look out for people interested in this hobby. I feel like I'm part of this hobby, and this is a community, and I want to do my part to help teach good financial lessons so that people can make good, stable financial decisions and collect responsibly, if we want to put it that way. So thank you all so much for tuning into this video. Again, the takeaway message is: do not panic. Enjoy yourself. Take breaks. Take breaks from the hobby if you need. take breaks from buying can always be good, and don't be so concerned, I think, about the long term of the hobby. Nothing, no matter what happens in the next 6 months, my long-term trajectory and belief in this hobby, I can't imagine that shifting or changing. So thank you all again, and I hope everyone has a great weekend. Take care.